What is up, guys? This is episode 17 of the Good Shit Podcast. I'm Oscar Cifuentes, a.k.a. Moonfrost.
I'm DJ DSPSO, a.k.a. Rough Hands.
And I'm Flapjack's brother, P-Bat.
I'm Anthony Ferrara, also known as Slap Your Nuts.
Of course you would.
After this episode, I'm going to have to slap my own nuts. And not in a good
for
way.
everybody wondering why we're using different names, well, we're a part of Retribution now.
Yeah.
So what do we got? We got Flapjack, we got T-Bart, we got Moonshine, we got Harambe, we got
this motherfucker in Harambe, I swear to God.
Yo, he likes Harambe as much as Vince likes cutting people's names.
But imagine trying to make something like Nexus, but having dudes come looking out like Bane and giving them names like Flapjack. Like, who wants to go to IHOP and, yeah, I'm Flapjack. I like a nice Flapjack right now.
Actually, bad right now.
But who let Vince approve this? Like, yo.
Who let Vince be in charge since his dad's been dead for 40 years?
Vince did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
So, like our buddy P-Bat here said, this horrible opening was brought as a parody as to the real thing that happened on Monday, which was Vince McMahon renaming promising NXT talent into T-Bar, Slapjack, and Mace.
Ace.
But if we're going to be real,
talent again?
what is promising NXT talent?
Non-existent anymore.
Word.
I quote, and I like to think that this company is better off when Vince McMahon's dead, but it's gonna be taken over by his idiotic daughter-in-law and his idiotic daughter, his doofus son-in-law, and the rest of his stupid family.
That's literally what it's about to be boiled down to.
Hey, can we rephrase what Chris Jericho said? It was a stupid idea by bad creative.
Yep.
Just
like most of his ideas are these days, but oh boy, but I will never get over those names.
You shouldn't.
Imagine trying to get a faction over. Well, first of all, the entire situation didn't make any sense as they've been running roughshod over your company for the last month, and you gave them contracts at the beginning of the show. Why? And then you brought them to television and revealed them like everybody wanted, and then did this? Like you're not helping anybody. Like they can't be taken seriously as a faction. They can't be taken seriously as opponents. Like, what are you doing?
It seems to be Hideo Itami was the only smart one to get out of there before he got the main roster call-up.
Yeah.
Not to mention, he did have injuries, which led him to go.
Actually, if you think about it, he got out.
Oh no, did he?
And he had a stint on like 205 Live and stuff, so he never really got a main roster call-up, but.
He was injured though. That did contribute to it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
but he got out of there just in the nick of time.
I have no words. It's my usual broken record.
Adam Cole, do not sign a new contract. Get up out of there as soon as you can, sir.
Or join your girlfriend over on the other side, bro. Yeah.
Go home.
You are on your way.
Yes, but. All right, before we continue, we just want to send our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the family of Joe Laurinaitis, a.k.a. the Road Warrior Animal, who had passed this week. A legend in his own right, one half of one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling, the Road Warriors, a.k.a. the Legion of Doom.
Yep. It was very so sudden, though. I mean,
yeah.
Like the sad part is the day before he wished his wife a happy anniversary, and the next day he passed.
That's only 60 too.
Word. Just goes to show that this business takes a toll on your body and on
62.
60.
60.
60 on the dot, bro.
Okay.
So we just want to send our condolences to his family. And wish them all the best, and may he rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, continuing on. So last week we started. Well, I was gonna say, who was here last week? Skeeves, you were here, Skeeves, last week, right? So what we've started is been talking about certain Hispanic wrestlers in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. Last week we talked about Rey Mysterio. This week I want to touch on Eddie Guerrero, probably one of the greatest to ever step foot in those ropes. You know, born into a legendary wrestling family. You know, his father, Gory Guerrero, probably one of the greatest luchadors ever. You know, every one of his brothers was a wrestler, Hector, Armando, and Chavo Sr. And Eddie came into his own, traveled the world, did his stunt in CMLL, AAA, New Japan, and then came over to the States, did his run in ECW, was a former ECW television champion, eventually going to WCW, and again meeting guys like Ray and Dean Malenko before jumping ship over to WWE, probably having one of the best careers you could ever ask for. So I want to ask you guys again, what is like your earliest memory of Eddie Guerrero in the ring?
I started watching wrestling in 2007, and relating to Eddie, it was definitely after Benoit had passed away. So all I really got to really know of Eddie was everything through YouTube, especially knowing that how close he was with Batista before he passed away, because they had a stint that they were doing, and they could have possibly had a great match or been a great tag team, greater than what they were at the time. I think it goes to show that there's no Sasha Banks, there's no Chavo, of course, there's no Benoit, and there's no really a lot of guys because, without Eddie. And the interesting thing is that Eddie grew up, and Eddie had his own vices, which eventually led him to be released at first. And when he came back, he incorporated everything from his family, his culture, and especially his religion. And that was something that was important about Eddie, because not only was he such a good performer inside the ring and a great talker and such a good entertainer and a good wrestler all around, Eddie was very much in tune with getting people into spirituality, whether it was being within the Catholic faith or just believing in not just a higher power, but also being a better version of yourself, because it came from him. And he was somebody that had been at his low, that even his family are like, what Vicky says in the documentary in Dark Side of the Ring, that I was waiting for the worst to come. The worst to come was that he got fired so that he would clean himself up and he would be able to go back and be the best version of himself. With him passing away, it left such an impact that now we understand, as we're older, we now know of the shoots that they have talking about how much of an impact Eddie has, because he really tried to make sure that everybody was in check and everybody was be able to connect to the good side of life and not have to be infested and manifested with the dirty politics and all the dirty games that they play within wrestling. So when Eddie passed, a lot of people kind of lost a part of themselves as well, because there was only two things that were keeping people in check. There was Wrestler's Court, where Undertaker was head, and then there was Eddie doing preaching and doing gospel readings to the guys before and after the ring, even just coming out of shower and sitting naked. Like, the guys would sit around and just listen. It would be like Jesus just talking to some disciples, and this is my today, or any professor back in the day just telling students something because they wanted to learn. And I think they learned a lot more from Eddie than Eddie would think that they would know.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Eddie had his demons, and he overcame those, and he wasn't shy to talk about those when he was around. I think one of the best things I remember from Eddie was his promo before, I think it was No Way Out in 2004 against Brock, when he talked about his addictions and how he got back on his feet. He earned the respect of his wife and his kids. And he got back into that ring after he got fired. He got clean. He picked up the pieces of his life, and just now he's got a new high, that adrenaline he gets when he steps through those ropes and starts putting on the best show he can for the crowd, for his wife, for everybody. Goes to show you how much Eddie really loved this business. And
I don't know if you guys agree with me, but when you look at Eddie Guerrero, do you see him as the whole package you would expect in a WWE superstar? Because
Yes.
he gave you everything he had. He was very amazing in the ring. He could cut a promo. He can give people the humor, and he worked well with others. So, and honestly, when I look at
not to mention, and like just to like what's it called? Go off what you were saying. He also still could play both roles extremely well. He was a great face, but probably an even better heel.
like Eddie has so many funny promos backstage. One is with the Big Show where he gave him the bad burrito and then kicked the door,
Yeah,
took the toilet paper.
The
And then you
manure
have
hose, he sprayed him with shit. Literally sprayed him with shit.
yeah,
And then that one with the Batista with the doctor, he was supposedly he had a hernia, and he saw the woman doctor, but it was a guy. And the doctor did the exam, and he goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
I think my favorite one though, where he gets in the ring with Kurt Angle's stuff and starts selling it off for like two or $3 a piece. He what's it called? He draws on a picture of Kurt Angle. He says, "Your very own I suck photo."
How about the Royal Rumble when he took Ric Flair's wallet and
Yeah,
Ric Flair lost something else, and Teddy's like, "Come on, give it back to him, give him his money and whatever else." And Rick didn't even know. He's like, "You bastard! You took all these things. I didn't even know. Well, I'm gonna get you in the ring." And it was just so funny.
yeah.
I think Eddie took his Royal Rumble number too."
Yeah, that was the thing. He took his wallet and his
His
he
number.
switched,
That's what it was. It was a
he
number
switched
and
his
then
Rumble
different wallet.
number.
If I'm not
Yeah, 'cause-
mistaken, was Eddie's last match in WWE against Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the other thing too, is that he's not the first, and I don't think he'll be the last. That was the same thing with Umaga. And I think even Benoit, unless Benoit's last match was with CM Punk or John Morrison.
I think CM, but the thing with Benoit, they gave him off time, and he went missing because he was supposed to show up for a pay-per-view, and he
Yeah,
never did. And then they put in a missing search for him, and then that's when
They
they
found
found him.
but yeah, but
I started watching in 2008, so I don't really have a whole lot of memories of Eddie Guerrero. But you can obviously see his influence in today's, because Sasha Banks talks about him all the time. You saw it in Peyton Royce's wrestling gear, like I believe it was WrestleMania, but one of the pay-per-views, she came out in Eddie inspired tights. So like you see it today, and kind of like what you guys already said, Eddie is the full package. He had charisma. Like he was the essence of charisma when he was there. He could play both roles, well, really all three roles. He could be a tweener too, but he was so over, he really swung either way. He had strength, he had speed, he could fly. Like he did it all. And kind of like you guys already stated, a lot of people wouldn't be who they are without Eddie's influence. So
not to mention he had probably one of the best characters. He went from the Latino heat and all that, and like showing up in the lowrider, and then just not changing it completely, but kind of like shifting it to that whole lie, cheat, and steal gimmick. That like I guess like I don't want to what's it called misspeak, but like yeah, he kind of that was like his whole character, but he kind of like shifted from one to the other. You know what I mean? Like with the Latino, he was kind of like smooth talking, trying to flirt with all the ladies, and then when like lie, cheat, and steal came about, he did whatever he could to win, but he did it in a way where it was just like you couldn't get mad at him because the way he did it was always so funny.
it's perfect. It was seamless.
Like he would grab
he
the
could
chair,
really
smash
put on a
it,
dime.
what's it called? Like banging on the ring floor, and then like the ref's back is turned obviously, and like just as he's about to turn and throw it to his opponent, and just go and just like fall down and play limp like he got hit. Like that was always so funny to me. Like
Eddie was a game changer, really in and out of the ring. There's all different aspects. He really was. He really had an influence on everyone.
And who could forget the night he won the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar? Probably one of the only small guys to ever win against Brock Lesnar. Because let's face it, who else that was like Eddie's size has actually beaten Brock?
Well, based on the most recent relatively small guys to go against Brock Lesnar, they don't usually do too well.
No.
AKA Kofi Kingston, 12 seconds.
Daniel Bryan.
7.
AJ Styles.
Finn Balor.
Yeah.
But that's because also. But you know what? I'm mad about that one because they could have had the Demon and even given him at least somewhat of a good fight, or even made him win.
No, because they would have just buried the Demon.
Yeah.
But
he probably would have lost quicker as a Demon.
Yeah.
But you gotta love what Eddie has done for the business and just how he's not reinvented himself, but like how he, revived himself from from addiction to coming back and having the best run of his career and just making it to the top and earning that legendary status. And then I don't know about you guys, but I'm still hell bent on like once this whole pandemic's over, I want to go visit his mural in El Paso.
That would be
traveling.
That's like on my bucket list right there, man.
That is actually a really.
I like traveling, making a boys trip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, y'all want to come with me when I go when we do this?
Get the RV, Oscar.
Road trip.
I'm down.
I mean, we don't know if Noah will join us because he's in his 5,000 year nap right now. So.
Yeah, he's on 5,000 year nap. But
I want to say one more thing. Like, it's clear Eddie's influence of people. Like, people still know of his name 15 years later.
Yeah.
And it will continue for the next 15 and beyond. That's how much of an icon Eddie Guerrero was.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure the Guerrero name is probably one of the most famous names in this business. Like, you can't yell Guerrero and like somebody's not gonna know who they are.
People still yell "Viva La Raza"
Exactly
because of Eddie Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still playing his theme song too. And that's another thing. He had probably one of the most kick-ass theme songs you could ever come out to.
Like, everybody gets hyped.
Exactly.
Came out with the lowrider.
Word. Well, Eddie, we love you. We miss you.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for being such a huge influence on this business. And continuing with this business. So, who remembers the Parking Lot Brawl from Dynamite? What was it, a week or two ago?
Yes.
I believe it was last week.
That was a beautiful, beautiful fight right there. Not a match, a fight. So beautiful. Dave Meltzer actually gave this a 5-star rating. Now, I wouldn't say it's not too common for Meltzer to give a 5-star rating to a televised match. In fact,
this wasn't a match. It was a brawl.
Well, to a brawl, yes.
This was a 5-star brawl.
Yeah.
But then...
And this is actually the first 5-star rating he's given in a televised match since the Undisputed Era went up against Mustache Mountain on an episode of NXT back in 2018. So it's been a few years since Meltzer's given a 5-star rating to a TV match. So
it was 2 years ago, but honestly, it feels like it was 10 years ago.
It does, but what's it called? But you got to think for Meltzer to give a 5-star rating to a TV match, like that's got to be huge for not only the company itself, but for the athletes involved in it. Yep. You got to give props to both the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz.
Even Sue.
Yeah, and Sue.
She might have made it. She might have turned it from 4.5 to a 5.
She put the cherry on top with this, man.
That brought it over.
Yeah.
It was 4.75 before that.
But you had all these cars getting smashed up, everything they took it to their limits, and exceeded that and gave each other hell. And again, for all 4 of these guys who were just so talented, like even Mick Foley even took to Twitter and put up a video of how much he loved that match. He was like 2 thumbs way up for all these guys, like, and if I'm not mistaken, he even said like he couldn't even have done better if it was him in that match.
And that's Mr. Extreme giving that type of props
to
a brawl, which was his specialty. So that's probably better praise than Meltzer giving him 5 stars for a brawl. Mick Foley saying that he couldn't do what you did.
When was the last time you really seen a good brawl, though? I mean, personally, I've been in and out over the years, and I've been more consistent since, I think, 2015, 14,
That's
15.
about when I went inconsistent.
Yeah, but the last good brawl I remember watching was Unsanctioned Match, Unforgiven 2008, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels.
Ooh.
That was a
Well,
perfect.
Gargano and Ciampa had, granted it was like 40 minutes, but they had a good one too. I don't know if it was quite like this. I don't think it was like this, but
I don't know if you guys agree, but one good brawl I remember is Jeff Hardy versus Umaga.
Yeah.
Was that the steel cage match they had, or?
No, it was basically the time where Jeff Hardy went down the ramp. He slid down the railing, and
Yes, he was on a railing.
and then he did
Yeah.
and then he did his finisher off the board, I believe. He climbed all the way up and then did the finisher. Went
I think I
outside.
remember that.
And I don't know if you guys remember from Survivor Series where Batista had broken ribs, and then Big Show and Kane chokes him right through the car.
Yeah, no.
It was a long time ago.
I might remember. I don't know.
We're looking between 2007
I was gonna say I vaguely remember that,
But I vaguely remember the
seeing
Jeff Hardy Swanton off the Titantron.
Yeah, well, Jeff's put himself through a lot.
See, we haven't seen good WWE in a long time, so it sucks that we constantly forget what good wrestling is in that business.
It's bad enough that we have to go back 10 plus years.
And I was just about to say, not to realize that the good wrestling that we have is like, the good wrestling that we do have is like 10 years removed. Like Jericho,
good wrestling today is like a 3-star match back then.
God.
You're not wrong.
But at least we're starting to get back to that feeling we got when we first started watching wrestling. Your eyes pop out. You're like, holy crap! And
well, actually, there was the last good brawl, the Stadium Stampede match. That shit was not a match. That was a brawl.
Okay, we'll give you that. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's a match of the year contender too.
It should be. Well, it technically isn't a match. It should be. It was one of the most entertaining things I have seen in a long time.
Oh, absolutely! I'm telling you.
The horse stole it. Yo, Ferrari, you okay, man?
I'm fine, man. It's just I'm drained.
I keep rocking back and forth. It's like,
well,
I have to. I am texting at the same time, but like I am just.
What are you getting ready to slap
no
some
worries.
nuts?
All he's missing is the solo cup.
I'm fucking frustrated. This jerk off behind me.
All he's missing is the solo cup because he's bobbing back and forth like the street poppers.
Oh boy. All right. Well, moving on from that, we also want to say congratulations to the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz for putting on that hell of a match and giving you guys all the props you guys deserve. So, how would you guys describe the Inner Circle as of this moment?
The best faction they have on wrestling right now.
Wow.
Okay. You guys agree?
I mean, it's the best between AEW and WWE. That's for damn sure.
All right.
The Undisputed Era ain't really doing nothing right now.
And the Bullet Club has been dragged for the last 2 years since Sean Nakamura, Styles, and the rest of the regular club have left. So.
And we already buried Retribution earlier, so that one's kind of out.
If somebody tells me
who's Retribution again?
Exactly.
Flapjack?
If somebody was to tell me that Retribution was their favorite thing going on right now, I would gladly guide them to a lake and push them.
Push them into the lake of reincarnation.
I like Retribution. Oh, I wish I could have it. Push.
Let's take this Retribution fan and
if you push Retribution into the lake of reincarnation, all of DC's superheroes will come out.
Yeah.
This might be the only thing that might save his company.
WWE needs to be pushed into the lake of reincarnation at this point.
I think Vince needs to be pushed into a fucking grave.
Oh my god.
Let's not go there, bro. Let's not go there. But
that's dark and not like AEW.
So the Inner Circle.
Can I replace Joe Laurinaitis for Vince McMahon? I'm really on the shits. I'm on the shit. Fuck him.
Bro, you're gonna get us canceled right now.
He really is.
All of our opinions are our own.
All right, you can cut it out or not. I don't know.
No,
we unscripted. It's staying in.
Oh yeah.
We just put a disclaimer out.
Oh yeah, but anyway, so Jericho had an interview with Inside the Ropes, and at one point they were talking about the Inner Circle, and Jericho said something very interesting that kind of got my attention. He said that this group could be similar to DX. So, but think about it for a sec. They've been around for almost a year. With almost no issues. These are 5 different guys with different ideas, looks, and characters. Not to mention, DX also started out as heels, and then they kind of turned babyface over the years and got over with the crowd. Yeah, and eventually got down to just Shawn Michaels and Triple H as a tag team, but it still worked. They got so popular with the crowd. And this is a quote from Jericho from his interview with Inside the Ropes. It says, "The best part is we've never once had a crossword with each other, never hit each other with our finish, never had a Keystone Cop moment. And it's been almost a year now of this faction still being the top heel group to where there's no reason to change it or add anybody or subtract anybody or replace anybody. I can see us being a faction for years, almost like DX was. When DX became a thing, they were heels. Then they became baby faces, and they just kept going. I really see that for the Inner Circle. So you guys think the Inner Circle could last for years to come, like DX has, or do you think they'll fall off and probably make a comeback?
If the New Day was not seen to be together past 5 years, I don't see why the Inner Circle can't be together for 10. I mean, at this point, really, Jericho can go from the Triple H role really to the Rick Rude role. Santana or Ortiz ain't going nowhere. That's dog. That's your fucking tag team, man, right there.
I mean,
Sammy.
I would honestly say Jericho has the Ric Flair role.
Well, if we're talking about
evolution,
yeah.
Probably what he.
But I don't want to compare them to other groups. I mean, honestly, they have what's going for them, and I would agree not to add, subtract any of that, except if there was to be another guy to mesh with them really well. I mean, let's face it. I
think they could use a female.
They could use a female. Who it is, I don't know. I would personally be all right if they added somebody like Big Swole, because I think Big Swole would.
Imagine Adam Cole.
I would say Swole or Britt Baker, because they both got attitude like the rest of them do.
That's true.
They're kind of like the go-getter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Britt's a heel right now, so I mean, she does everything that she can to be like, fuck you, you know? And
hey, man, that's a role model you're talking about, sir. Show some respect.
That's my dentist, bro. Show some respect. She takes care of my teeth.
She takes care of my teeth, too.
No, but honestly, imagine that thing. Imagine Britt Baker joining the Inner Circle, and then down the road, Adam Cole joins AEW and takes over as the leader of AEW. I
was going to say, to bounce off what Ferrara was saying about, somebody not like to join the Inner Circle, but to kind of bounce off them. I feel like they're going to do something with MJF, where it's not really MJF joining, but it's more like an alliance that he has with the Inner Circle.
MJF stands too much on his own to kind of have a backup, and also too, I would want to keep him as far away from other people.
No, I get that, but the way they've just been doing these little banters.
It would be like how Edge used to be allied with other people, and then he does something to break off with them.
True.
Something like that,
But if we do MJF with Shawn Spears, like how Edge was with Randy Orton, and you had Rated RKO, that would be great.
I mean, but agreeing with what you said, MJF does better on his own. But the point I'm just trying to make was it's more of just not really him, like I said, not him joining the Inner Circle, but more of just him kind of being allies with them. So it's if he gets into some shit, they have his back. But when the time comes for him to have their backs, he's gonna be like, nah, fuck y'all, I'm on my own. So
my question to you is that if there was somebody to add to Inner Circle, who would it be? Who do you see meshing with them? Who do you see going down the line of being that sixth man? As a faction, we're fucking everything up.
See, that's the thing. I don't know. I think
5 kind of seems like a perfect number, honestly.
Exactly. Or if anything, this is just my opinion. I feel like if you're gonna have a faction, you should have enough guys in the group to get all the gold. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why a woman would be a perfect fit, because that way they could have all the men's titles and then also have the women's title.
And I I would definitely be on board with saying fucking Big Swole. Because as a woman independently, she can stand on her own 2 feet if she doesn't want them, you know? But it's like...
Yeah, and that's the thing you also gotta take into account, too, is not only, like, they work so well as a group, but they
can all do their own thing.
Exactly. Like, Jericho knows how to do his own thing. Hager's just a tough guy, you know, who could fuck people up. Sammy knows how to handle himself. He did pretty well against Matt Hardy. And then you have Santana and Ortiz who can dominate the tag team division.
The best thing I would say going forward for the Inner Circle right now is if they were to have like the corporation and the ministry, right, back in the WWF days in 1998, 1999, they combined together. And at one point it was DX versus, you know, kind of like the corporation with allies such as Stone Cold and Mankind on their side. But, you know, they always flip-flop back and forth. But the main guys really were really Austin and Rock, along with Undertaker, Jericho, Kane, Mankind, whoever else. If you got a good core of guys outside of those factions that could stay persistent with the audience, are like, oh, that's my guy. Oh, I want him to get his ass beat, but he's so good, but I want him to get... If you can do a huge double turn with both groups right now in AEW, which would be...
Order.
No, not Dark Order. I want them to stay the way they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're fine the way they are right now.
Do a big flip between the club, the elite, and then with Inner Circle, you have that switched. It's perfect because then you got the guys that are running the company slowly turning heel now, and then you got the Inner Circle who's like, well, you're jerks or whatever. We don't like what you're doing. And then in the process, because these guys have more power because they're running the company, it kind of puts the Inner Circle in the underdog situation where you know that they're going to let off and unleash. But how much can they take? And they fight on their own to a point where you got to say, you know what? They held their own. I respect it. Plus, Jericho's favorable outside of the ring. The Dark Side of the Ring documentary that he did, you can't hate him. And he's trying to get you to hate him, but you can't. Between that and then the bubbly thing, plus 2, Hager's an animal. Sammy's young, so he's got people that relate to him.
And people still like him.
Guys want to have a beer with him. And then Santana Ortiz, man, it's like
they're just cool.
Those are fucking guys that are first in line to cook out. Really?
Yeah.
They're really the first in line to cook out, so you got a good dynamic.
I like that idea that you had, but the thing is, like, we've already visited that, you know, elite Inner Circle rivalry, which led to probably the best match of this year so far with the Stadium Stampede.
But the one that hasn't happened yet.
But if you flip the roles, you got something different because now Moxley can say to the Inner Circle, you know what? I fucking hated you guys, but I'm going to give it a shot. MGF can say, you know what, Cody? You're an asshole. And we were friends at one point. But I want to make it work again because now you got a heel and heel. You got MJF who's thinking as a heel saying, this guy used to be my friend. I was using him. Maybe I can use him again. Maybe we can meet eye to eye. And if I don't, fuck him. I'll do away with him again just like I did before. Dark Order can just be there. Dark Order can really be minions until please give me the right name. Not Luke Harper. Please give it to me.
Brody Lee.
Brody Lee can be like, you know what? This ain't good for my group. You're not on the same understanding and following as I want to do with my cult, and then boom, and you can have the Dark Order can even be tweeners at that point.
I feel like they kind of are right now because like I'm kind of like in between with them. Like I don't hate them, but at the same time I'm not their biggest fan.
Right.
But they do play their role very well though.
It's like they're kind of there, but you still got to respect their presence.
And even right now, as I'm saying all the possibilities that could be, that's already great that there's even that. Because it's like I'm thinking of possibilities. What else can anybody think of? Because you have the room to do it. Because you have the people to do it. You can't do it in WWE because it just doesn't fucking make sense.
Well, it's going to get ripped up in half an hour.
Word.
And rewritten twice before it fucking actually sees the light of day on camera. But I mean, you got something that's good. Plus, you got guys that are mixed. You got guys built up, and you got guys that are coming up. You got your Ric Flair, Triple H, Jericho, if we're talking about 2004, 2005. And then you got your Batista, Randy Orton. In between, you got your Edges and your Benoits and your Guerreros. You got guys that are already established, guys that are on a come-up, and guys that are in between that haven't peaked yet or in their peak now. And that's pretty much all of them. Hager's on his peak. He will come down in a couple of years, but Sammy's got a long way to go, and Jericho's like, all right, now I got to help the other guys.
That's really what it came down to, because like even when they started forming, the inner circle, you saw Jake Hager kind of evolve from what he was back in WWE. Santana and Ortiz, they had only met Jericho once on his cruise, and they just threw him in just to give it a shot. And Jericho was talking about also how he saw Sammy at a show for NWA when Cody was like working with Nick Aldis, and like he saw that Sammy, like how Sammy was in the NWA, he thought he was like miscasted because Sammy was a face coming out with the panda head and all that, but he looked like such a dick that like he hated his guts. So he's like, all right, let me work with this kid and see what I can do with him.
He looks like a hype beast, though.
A what?
A hype beast is somebody.
Oh, he's like a hype beast, though. I'm like, what the hell is that?
You know what I mean by hype beast, though? Like, Rice going YouTube. Okay, Sammy's the perfect example of somebody that could be a hype beast. Nobody fucking likes those guys at all. They're assholes. They're little pricks, And Sammy's like that type of little prick, but he's like, I'm hot. What are you gonna do about it? And the girls are like, oh, okay. I mean, even when I'm in a restaurant, right, and I'm watching, it's back in October, and I put AEW on for like the first time there. I think it was the second or third week, and one of the bartenders there is
are you basically explaining yourself? Are you a hype beast?
What do I have to hype? Look at this beard, bro. Can't be a hype beast with a beard like this.
But you got the shade for it.
I mean, you're giving the characteristics of what a hype beast are, and I automatically thought of you.
No, but my bartender's sitting there, right? And she's like, who is that? He's really cute. I was like, who, that guy? And I'm pointing to Sammy Guevara. She's like, yeah, he's like really cute. He's like really skinny and like tone and shit. I'm like, he's a dick. She goes, I don't care. She's like, oh, he's got the whole.
Okay, I guess we're out, dog.
And he's got the panda thing on. He's like, oh, he's adorable, like cute. I'm like, adorable.
That's Staten Island for you.
Two different things. Shut up. Long Island.
But anyway, yeah. You were saying,
as he was saying. No, he had a thought. Oh, well,
I gave you my thought.
Oh, typical Staten Island, yeah. But no, but Sammy is the type of guy who's like a hype beast, though. But I mean, like, he's got it going for him. So.
And it works.
How old is Sam? How old is he?
20, like 22?
23.
No, he was born in 93. So
he's 27.
Let's do the Google check.
I was gonna say, because I'm pretty sure.
27.
Yeah, 27. So.
MJF is our age.
Yeah, MJF.
That's what I was thinking.
But not gonna lie though, he does look like he could be our age, Sammy.
He looks 23.
He does.
And MJF doesn't look 24 at all. He looks like he's like 30.
He looks 30.
Yeah. But
especially with the scarf. There's no 23-year-old owns those damn scarves.
You know what though? That's the difference though, because Sammy Guevara can walk up to half the bars in like New York City and get denied and ask for ID. Meanwhile, MJF they'll be like, oh, this grown man wants to walk in. All right, go right in. MJF.
Well, he's legal, so he wouldn't have an issue.
Well, they're both legal, so.
MJF would be like, I'll fucking buy out your job right now. Like
he probably would. He would cut a 5-minute promo on the person checking him.
Wardlow.
On the bouncer, yeah.
You're a bouncer now. $100,000
You would have Wardlow bounce the bouncer.
Very
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
But cost him the match.
Oh, man. So, just to wrap this up right here. So, do you think the Inner Circle could go on for I don't know, maybe like another 2-3 years right now? Maybe have a little hiatus where they kind of like split up and do their own things. And then
I think if they go on a solid pace, they'll be successful.
I mean, they
already
go.
No, they already are successful. Like you have that Stadium Stampede. They have those big promos. They have a lot of merchandise out. So they have it going for them. Like honestly, if they even take a break for 6 months and they come back when fans start coming back to arenas, I think it'll be perfect for them.
I think as of right now, if you really think about it, when all the other groups had broken up, right, and they went on their own and they did other stuff, they would only be like a man or two short. But then as things change, things really fall out of line. And then when you got the guys that can come back and kind of make it great again and kind of make it something, they'll do it. Like DX. DX lost Shawn Michaels, but gained X-Pac and then the
Outlaws.
Really good. Yeah, the Outlaws. Okay. Then when you lose China and you get Stephanie McMahon and then you get Terry Reynolds, and then you're in and out, back and forth. X-Pac does his thing with China because McMahon and Helmsley are together. The New Age Outlaws are trying to find their spot somewhere. And then 2006 comes along when Shawn Michaels comes back from his back injury, and then they reform DX, and it's like, oh, fuck yeah. It's like old school. It's like the old days again. It's something that could still be fresh in the mind. And if you even have at least 3 of the guys, it could still be something. And you can always throw people in to kind of fill those voids. Just not somebody like Hornswoggle.
Oh, Jesus
I
Christ.
don't think Jericho's dumb enough to do something like that.
No.
You're not gonna do
it worked for Triple H and Shawn Michaels back in 2011. Like it worked back then. It wouldn't work today.
They're not bringing Marco Stunt into the inner circle.
Hell no.
No, not even Marco
I don't
Stunt.
even think Jericho likes Marco Stunt. So.
Not even Marco Stunt, bro. I forget his name, but who is the one that every time he's in the ring, he always oils himself up? Nakazawa.
Michael Nakazawa.
Fuck that, bro.
That guy's weird, but
that's going to ruin the inner circle.
Listen to me. If you did DX again, right, and you told me like, oh, we're gonna have Hornswoggle join, it's like, okay, he's gonna be a third. He's gonna be like the third man to kick ass. No, he's just gonna be a comedy routine, and they're gonna have gimmick infringement and lawsuits against him.
He's green.
I'd rather you fucking go and get somebody like, give me Yoshitatsu, because at least the guy can fucking fight.
Yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Wait, I broke Paris.
He's like, you really just said this man Yoshitatsu though? No.
Or even Vladimir Kozlov. At least to be somebody that fights.
Or you can be slapping nuts.
I'd rather be Jeff Jarrett sitting on a fucking guitar and playing songs the whole time.
That's Elias. That's Jeff Jarrett reincarnated, Elias.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But they have nothing to fix.
Whatever happened to Elias?
They just took him off TV for a while.
He got hurt.
Who knows?
But yeah, I think Inner Circle is fine as is. They, like we already said, the same thing with DX. They have 5 guys that could already handle their own business, but they also have backup in case. And it's not like they've gotten old yet. People still like seeing the Inner Circle on TV. They're still entertaining. So
they're still singing Judas when Jericho walks out. So
exactly. And hell, even if somebody breaks off, Jericho is the type of dude that can easily get somebody. He can easily recruit somebody. And
but I feel like Jericho wouldn't really replace anybody. Like if one guy left,
he wouldn't. But I think if need be, Jericho would be the guy to get somebody competent to fill that role or to be an addition.
I guess. Okay.
You ever think Pac would ever join the Inner Circle?
Pac? No.
I think Pac would make his own.
Well, I think he's still like considering he's been away for so long now. He has kind of a long way to go to get back to where he was.
Yes, Pac is a little too serious, but I would say if it wasn't such a thing right now with the Lucha Brothers and then the Butcher and the Blade, Eddie and Kingston would be good. Because Eddie Kingston's been around, and Eddie Kingston can kind of be Jericho's right-hand man and then have Sammy as his, apprentice.
Oh, that's the Mafia at that point.
That's what I'm saying. So you got the head, you got a consigliere, and then you got, you got the made man coming, in a sense. So it worked.
If we were putting in, the Godfather kind of sense, Jericho would be like Vito.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Eddie Kingston would be like Tom Hagen, and then you have Sammy being Michael, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you got the whole group. Half is white, half is Latino. I mean, at that point, it works because you got the 2 white guys that are actually badass, and then you got the other, 3 Hispanic guys that they all vibe with each other. So it's it's a good dynamic. They fuck with each other. You can see that. It's like a brother love. It's more.
Tony, tune into the podcast. We just gave you an idea.
Well, speaking of good ideas, who remembers when Edge won the WWE Championship and had his custom made championship belt?
Oh, Edge, right? Edge.
Edge.
Edge. Oh, that was sick. I mean,
I think it's still floating in the ocean as we speak.
Oh yeah, I mean,
in the Long Island Sound. Yeah, why don't you go swim and look for it, bro?
Well, if it's been this long, it probably is. It's probably like in Europe somewhere now.
I liked what it was. Custom designs are okay. I mean, the spinner belts for Cena both times were great, but at a point when that belt didn't spin anymore, it's like, all right, give me something that's like worth holding.
Well,
but even then, like Edge's rated R spinner belt, it was just the R like spun. Like should have made the WWE title like a star and then still had WWE in it.
Well, I was gonna say, Edge was on their WWE's latest episode of WWE Untold on the network, and he talked about how about what went down when they told him they were gonna give him a custom championship belt. You know, he's like he flat out said that he hated the spinner belts, like he despised them shits, and like when they told him that like they were gonna give him a rated R championship, he was all excited, and he actually drew up a little sketch of what he wanted to do, and it's actually what I sent y'all earlier. And the sketch actually looks fucking dope. Like it kind of gave me that Intercontinental Championship vibe, but the way the design he had on it looks.
You could tell it's his.
Dope. It came from him. It was his creative idea. It was like something he would want to wear around his waist, and then
it looked like Edge's belt.
It
looked a lot more like Edge's belt than
like not Adam Copeland's
John Cena's belt with an R.
It's Edge's belt.
It looked more like his than Cena's belt with an R. Because let's be real, the spinner belt was John Cena's belt.
Oh, absolutely. And then for them to just tell him, oh, we're just gonna put your logo on a spinner, and he was just like, what? Like that's. And this is a quote that he actually said in the documentary. He said, that to me is the one championship that needs to look like a championship and not somebody's hubcaps. Like he literally said that about the rated R spinner belt. And I kind of agree with him after seeing that sketch, because like when you first revealed that championship, you're like, all right, that looks pretty dope. But now that you see the sketch of what he originally wanted, you're just like, wow, that is
like this is what they went with.
Like, why didn't they go with that? Now that just makes what they did look fucking stupid. Like, like he flat out said, like, this is not Edge's belt. Like, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's a shame because, like, the guy had so much creativity and they just threw his logo on the spinner belt. Like,
I think this goes to show that no matter how big you are in the company, you're still, odds are, unless you are like the top 1%, shout out to EC3, you're not getting what you want. You're going to get what Vince gives you.
It was 2006.
Unless you're Roman Reigns.
I was going to say, but this is 2006 at the time. And who was at the top back in 2006? It was like Cena, Batista, and Edge was a part of that group too. Like he had just gotten in there, but like he was part of it.
And Booker T.
Yes, and Booker T as well. So
Shucky
can you take that?
Oh, Shocky Doggy Quack Quack was not a thing. I heard that. That was not a thing.
I don't know. But what did you guys think of the sketch though? The sketch of the belt.
I liked it. It was something I could definitely excuse me. It was something definitely I could invest in a lot more than a spinner belt, for sure.
It looked like a belt that Edge would hold.
I don't even think Cena was a fan of the spinner belt.
Well, I'm pretty sure the spinner belt was his idea though.
It wasn't.
Because remember he also had the U.S. title spinning too.
Mm-hmm.
I probably misread something.
If he didn't like the spinner belt, why did he spin it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He also had the spinner belt on the cover of one of his albums, so I think he liked it.
Yeah, so he was a fan of that, and then give the title.
Yeah,
to
I
Edge,
misread something.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, hopefully, if AEW comes up with a custom title for somebody, they do it right, and they take their whoever's the champion ideas into account.
Well, seeing how the TNT belt came out, I think they'll be fine.
I was gonna say, yeah. Even the first design wasn't that bad, but like now that we see the finished product, it's like holy crap, that is one good looking belt.
I think they'll be all right.
Yeah. But Anyway, thank you guys for joining us once again right here at the Good Shit Podcast. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check us out on social media, on Facebook at Good Shit Podcast, Instagram at Good Shit Podcast NY, and on Twitter at Good Shit Podcast. And we thank you guys once again for joining us. Until next week, I'm Oscar Cifuentes.
DJ DSP Southern, a.k.a. Rough Hands.
I'm P-Bat.
Go ahead and slap your nuts. Good night.
We will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us.